Hi, my name's Steve, and I'm here today to talk about Quad's S series of loudspeakers. We have the S-1 and S-2 bookshelves here, and just wanted to tell you a little bit about them and about their sound. I got to spend some time with them, and I was really impressed by them. One of the things that's special and kind of unusual about them is they use a true ribbon tweeter. The true ribbon has a piece of metal, usually it's almost kind of like foil, and that is suspended in a magnetic field, and that takes the function of the tweeter, which is normally a dome in most speakers, at least most of the speakers that we sell. And the advantage to a ribbon tweeter is that that ribbon really is both kind of the diaphragm and the voice coil. So the signal that's coming from your amplifier is driving the tweeter element directly. And that's why ribbon tweeters are able to reveal a lot of detail. They're just very sensitive to the signal that's coming through to them. And they can produce a very detailed sound. So both of these models use the same ribbon tweeter. And then they also use woofers that are similar. In the S1, it's a 4-inch. It's a woven Kevlar driver that provides actually a surprising amount of bass for the size of the speaker. And then the S2 uses a 5-inch version of that same driver, woven Kevlar. These are both ported speakers, so they have a port in the back. That is part of why they have a little bit better bass response than you would normally expect from speakers of this size. And then also, these speakers have dual sets of speaker binding posts, so you can bi-wire or bi-amp them if you choose to. The cabinets are really solid, and the cabinet work is really beautiful. We had training from Quad a couple of weeks ago, and they had a whole stack of larger speakers, and then they had a pair of the S1s kind of sitting up high. And the first demo they didn't tell us what speakers were playing, and the sound was really big and detailed. It ended up being that the S1s were playing, and I think a lot of people were pretty shocked in the audience. I know I was. I got to spend quite a bit of time with the S2s. Whenever I can, I like to bring speakers home and audition them in my system. And I have a pair of Dynaudio Excite speakers that I bought about a year ago that I'm just loving. And so when I brought these home, I wasn't that familiar with Quad speakers overall. I wanted to check them out, but I thought, well, I'll just listen to them briefly and probably box them right back up so I can get back to my Dynaudios. But I was so knocked out by the sound that I actually left them in my system for a few weeks, listened to a bunch of different kinds of music, and I was just really, really impressed by them. And I think I was kind of surprised because, like I said, these do use ribbon tweeters, and I know a lot of audiophiles really love ribbon tweeters, but I've never been able to warm up to them in the past. I mean, they are detailed, but sometimes they can also sound a little harsh and almost edgy. And I've found in the past that listener fatigue kind of sets in before too long. But what I found with the tweeter in these S2s is that it was just unbelievably open and smooth sounding, and it's really, I think I'd have to say, it's one of the best tweeters I've ever heard. No matter what type of music I was listening to, there was plenty of detail. I mean, you never felt like you were missing any detail or that it was being glossed over, but it kind of wasn't shoved in your face so much, and it was just really pleasing to listen to. And these speakers do a great job with vocals. I'm kind of a sound staging freak when it comes to my speaker priorities. For speakers that can create that really believable three-dimensional soundstage with real depth and a soundstage that goes out beyond the speakers, that's what I really look for. And one thing that I found is that the sweet spot is a little bigger than you get with some speakers. With a lot of speakers, you have to sit just dead center between the two of them, and then you have this great three-dimensional soundstage. You move your head a little bit to one side, and it kind of collapses a little bit. But with the Quads, I found that I could move out to the either end of the sofa, and sometimes with other speakers, that would mean I would just be hearing the speaker on that side. But with the Quads, I could definitely hear the speaker on the other side. And I think a lot of that is, again, due to the ribbon tweeter, which has it has terrific sort of horizontal dispersion, and then the vertical dispersion is purposely limited, so it doesn't interact with the ceiling and the floor. But what that means is that it's really important that you have your ears kind of at the right height for listening, or rather that you have the speakers at the right height for your ears, that's seated listening height. So what we found is that using 24-inch stands with really either of these speakers should provide really good imaging. So again, this is the Quad S-1 and S-2 speakers. I was super impressed with their performance, had a great time listening to them at home. If you're interested in some speakers that provide a very detailed sound and great sound staging, I would highly recommend them. If you have any questions about these or any other speakers that we sell, please give us a call or chat with us online or send us an email.